Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. We're back at Open Diner, our 33rd episode of Open Diner. Um, Glad to have you here. And just checking to see, uh, waiting just a minute for Facebook to get going, and we will get started here. But of course, as usual, we have Facebook and YouTube streaming. And So we'll have people joining us there, asking questions, making comments, extending the family. We see some new people here tonight, starting to gather in. We have a great topic tonight on the meaning of life, and it's just a short little topic. It's easy to cover, in an hour. So we'll be doing that, and this is a cameras on event. So if you can turn on your cameras, we interact a lot, so it makes it a lot more personal and a lot more. It's easier to connect when you have your cameras on. We can see each other. If you're able to connect, Pamela's here. Nice to see you again, as usual. Um, so if you're um, following on Facebook or YouTube, make sure to connect, make sure to make comments, make sure to let us know where you're from, and we'll try to get to we're going to have a question and answer period too at the end of this. So make sure to post your questions and your answers. First, we're going to watch a brief presentation about how to use Zoom, about the useful Zoom functions, and the general format of this event. So let's watch that video.
When you start Zoom, your microphone is muted by default. Before you can speak, you must unmute yourself. The mute/unmute button on a computer is at the lower left. On the iPad, it's the first item. When you start Zoom, your microphone is muted by default. Before you can speak, you must unmute yourself. The mute/unmute button on a computer is at the lower left. On the iPad, it's the first item on top. Remember to mute yourself when you are done speaking. During the event, there might be a need to read from the chat. Roundtable questions will be displayed there. You can also use the chat to make comments, get technical advice, etc. The chat button on a computer is here in the middle. On the iPad, it is in the three-dot menu here.
Anytime you wish to see the entire audience, you can switch from speaker view to gallery view. On a computer, the gallery view button is on the top right. In newer versions of Zoom, it's under the views menu. On the iPad, it's in the top left.
Okay, I'm glad we had that little intro there with Zoom because we're going to use it right now. Welcome, everybody. We're going to introduce ourselves, but we're going to do it in a fun way. You're going to introduce yourself, say your name, where you're from, and one fun fact about yourself, just one. And we're going to try to do it short. We only have 5 minutes for this segment, so we want to hear from everybody. So I'll start. My name's Roberta from Huntington, New York. I used to be a professional race car driver. That's a fun fact. No one will probably think. So, and then you pick the next person. So I will pick, who do we have? Paula.
Hi, thank you, Roberta. I'm Paula from New York. It's great to be here and trying to think of a fun fact. Can't think of one really other than I'm an animal lover. It's not much of a fun fact, but it's a fact nonetheless. I'm gonna pick, let's see, Cheryl.
Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm from New York, and I'm a ballroom dancer. Let's see, Carl?
Hi, I'm Carl. I'm from Florida, and I used to live in the Florida Keys for 12 years. And during that time, I scuba dived a lot, spearfished, caught lobsters, and I'm going to call on John from Florida.
Hi, I'm John from Florida. I'm a musician. Good guess. I also live in Florida, and I caught a sunburn. Rono.
Hi, my name is Bono. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I think for 5 days from now, when I introduce myself, I will say I am Rono from Rotterdam. And I'm picking Shirley.
You're muted.
Muted, Shirley.
About that.
There you go. Oh, no, you're muted again.
You're muted.
We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
There
About
you go.
that. There you go.
There you
Okay,
go.
hi. I'm Mickey. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. About me, neurotic optimist.
You want to pick somebody?
I don't know how. I don't have. I'm on my phone. I don't have
Okay,
pictures.
I'll pick for you. I know who didn't go. Pamela
Thank
didn't go. No problem, Shirley. Pamela?
Hi, I'm Pamela. I'm from Ossining, New York, and as of a couple of hours ago, I'm trialing contact lenses so that I can try to work out more effectively at the gym, and you are all very blurry right now, so I think I have to try a new set. I will pick, let me put my glasses on to read, Nina.
Thank you. I'm Nina from Brooklyn, New York. Fun fact, I love to take photographs of people. I love to find the beauty in every person and try to capture it. Ilana.
Hi, I'm Ilana from Brooklyn, New York too. And fun fact, I lived, it's the third continent I'm living on, actually, through my life. And I will pick Eva.
Hi, I'm Eva, and the fun fact is that many years ago I said to myself, from all places on earth, I'm never going to be living in New York. Guess when I'm now living in New York? Brandon.
Thank you. I'm Brandon. I'm from New York. I repossess cars throughout the eastern seacoast.
Wow. I don't know if
Natalia.
Natalia.
Hi, I'm Natalia from Chicago. I'm a social worker, so I have lots of things to say about me, but let's stop here. Who wasn't represented yet? Linda?
Linda and Gary. We
Linda.
have two more anyway.
I'm Linda, and I live in upstate New York. And fun fact about me is, I don't know how fun it is, but I'm a retired nurse. Who did we say hasn't had a chance? Gary, go.
I'll go. I'll bring up the rear here. I'm Gary. I live in Pasadena, California, and I am a licensed pyrotechnician. I set off big boom boom fireworks, and which is very fun. And since I'm the last one, and we're wrapping up this, we're gonna have our first song from our guest musician today, John Weber. So John, could you take us away into Songland, please?
I will do that for you, Gary. We're grateful to have all of you here at the Open Diner. Sitting in the morning sun, I've been sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I watch them roll away again. Yeah, just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Left my home in Georgia, I was heading for the Frisco Bay. I've got something to live for, seems like nothing ever comes my way. So I'm just sitting in the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones, this loneliness won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles I've roamed just to make this dock my home. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can't whistle too much without breath. Back to you, Gary.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was great. That brings back some memories. All right. Well, we're gonna step right into. We just want to make a couple little reminders here. Open Diner is a place where we create a supportive element, real warm, friendly, accepting environment where we really celebrate diversity. We connect above differences. And a reminder that we're going to have questions and answers. So stay on topic. We're going to avoid anything negative, which means, of course, no politics. So, and a reminder to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. That minimizes the background noise. And turn on your cameras. And also, last but not least, just keep your answers brief so that everyone gets a chance to speak. Now, every week we do quite a bit of research when deciding on our topics. And several times in the past, we have found some very useful information from the wisdom of Kabbalah, or as I learned, it's pronounced actually Kabbalah. And when we were researching today's topic of the meaning of life, Kabbalah was probably the most prominent and universal source that we could find. So in light of that, we have invited a special guest today, Gianni. He is a Kabbalah instructor, and he and one of our regular hosts, Carl, are going to give us a brief presentation on some basic principles of Kabbalah and the topic of the meaning of life, which is basically which Kabbalah is all about. In some past events, some of our participants have expressed an interest in the topic about the meaning of life, and especially in light of the crisis that we've been in over the past year. And we also recently watched a movie called Crossroads, which kind of touched on this topic with a lot of prominent scientists and speakers from various fields. So anyway, today we're going to present this topic from one of the ancient wisdoms, the science of Kabbalah. So Carl, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, Gary. So this is a great subject. I've been studying Kabbalah now probably for about 10 years. And the wisdom comes from Kabbalists, better known or also known as scientists, great sages. And what we call them Kabbalists because what they did is they wanted to know the meaning of life. And Kabbalah comes from the term to receive. So they found out that everything that we encounter in life, everything that comes to us, we receive it. And we need to start receiving it in the right way. So they're called Kabbalists. They figured out how to receive all the pleasures that we have, everything that we encounter every day in the right way. So I started studying Kabbalah 10 years ago. And since studying Kabbalah, my relationships have improved. I've gained many friends. I've found out really what the meaning of life is. And better than that, more than that, I've found out what I need to do in life. So I don't have any questions anymore. I don't have any questions like, what is my purpose in life? And who are the people I need to hang around with? It all comes down to really the environment that you're in, the people you hang around with. This determines your whole life. And Gianni is going to give us, he's got a good presentation ahead, and it all comes from these Kabbalists who dedicated their life to finding out what the meaning of life is. So, Gianni, let's
I
hear
actually
it.
don't know what to say because the wisdom of Kabbalah includes so much. It includes all of the sciences, all of the wisdoms. It's about 6,000 years old, almost. And it's been passed down from teacher to student throughout this time. And the wisdom of Kabbalah, of course, was concealed for reasons we'll have to explain later. It was concealed and usually passed on only to one or a handful of students in each generation. Now, what happens when the wisdom of Kabbalah is concealed? It means that anyone can basically say anything they want about the wisdom of Kabbalah. Now, in the 1500s, a book by the name of the Zohar was in the hands of a Kabbalist by the name of Moshe de Leon. And this book of Zohar was a very ancient book that Kabbalists had passed from generation to generation in secrecy and studied it in secrecy. And when Moshe de Leon passed away, his widow sold it. It got out. People heard that there was this thing called the wisdom of Kabbalah. And you can actually, I could give you many quotes of famous scientists who, when they got their hands on this, they thought this contains all the secrets of life. From Isaac Newton, he even learned Hebrew just to be able to study the original texts. The Leibniz, the inventor of calculus, who co-invented it with Newton, and many, many others throughout the generations. Also, the pre-Socratics studied it, such as Pythagoras, Plato, because Kabbalists have, at that time, actually, they used to share it. Then it was concealed. After around the year 2000, when the Zohar was written, it was concealed and no longer shared and only passed down from teacher to student. Now, like I said, many myths arose as people learned about this wisdom and got their hands on this book called the Zohar. So they thought it had to do with red strings, holy water, all kinds of special prayers, looking at letters, keeping books of the Zohar for protection, you name it. There are different religions that came out of it, different belief systems. And really, the wisdom of Kabbalah is not about any of that. And Kabbalists actually promulgated this misinformation by keeping their mouths shut. Okay, so they were not willing to actually open their mouths and explain what this wisdom really was about. We get to our times, though, when Bala Sulam, a great Kabbalist, well, maybe I should show it. I'll just tell you what he says. He just says, I'm very happy that I have been born in a generation when it is permitted to disclose the wisdom of Kabbalah. Now, what is this wisdom of Kabbalah? Kabbalah is Hebrew for reception, as Carl mentioned. Now, and why would we need a wisdom of reception? Well, Kabbalists tell us that our essence, and we're talking about the purpose of life, right? So we should know what our essence is. Our essence, if we go back behind all of our psychology and everything, our essence is a desire to receive, right? And I think I will share with you this one quote. Hold on. So this is a quote from the Kabbalists, and they say, "We innovate nothing. Our work is only to illuminate that which is hidden within the person." So in other words, they want to first tell us what we are. They want us to think about it for ourselves without believing anything. They want us to think about it and realize that we cannot live without pleasure. This is our most fundamental instinct, to search for all kinds of pleasures, for food, for family, for money, for power, for honor, for knowledge. But we have to find some fulfillment. We have to define our lives in a way that we're oriented at some goal. And Kabbalists say that after a person passes through all kinds of different pleasures, meaning all kinds of different definitions, I say, my life is about getting rich. Okay, my life is about finding my soulmate. That didn't satisfy me, so I need to now have kids. I need to have a family. I need to build a company. I need to maybe find some spiritual path. Kabbalists say that after all of these things that happen, after all of these phases that I go through, something emerges in me, okay? And here I'm going to draw it real quick for you. So they say that after I go through all of these kinds of desires for food, family, money, power, honor, knowledge, and I could still be in these also, but at some point along the way through this trajectory, and all of these Kabbalists call my heart. And when they say heart, they just mean my desire. That after going through all of these, there's something called the point in the heart that emerges. And this point it registers to me as something that asks the question, what is the meaning of my life? Meaning I can chase all of these pleasures. I can chase all of these things. But what is it all for? What is the purpose of all this? And why do we suffer, moreover? And why is the world going through such suffering, right? Especially now, I'm a teacher, and my students, besides teaching Kabbalah, I'm also a teacher of young adults. And my students tell me, I wish the year 2020 would just be erased. I wish it would just go away. And this is my wish, that I would just forget that the year 2020 ever existed and that we could just move on. So why is there suffering in the world? Here's what the Kabbalists say. Because, let's see, where is it? Here we go. So this is what a great Kabbalist says. He says, the whole of the wisdom of Kabbalah is only to know the guidance of the higher will, why it has created all of these creatures, and what it wants of them, and what will be the end of the cycles of the world. Meaning, after everything plays out in the relationships between us with all of the politics and the power and the viruses that are going around and all of this, what is all of this leading to? Is it leading to something? Is there a purpose? And here's what Kabbalists say. They say, just like scientists. So this I got off Wikipedia. This is, if you look up the Big Bang on Wikipedia, it tells us that everything comes out of this point that you can see. Everything comes out of this point, including all of matter, meaning space itself actually emanates from a single point. And it starts forming gases and inanimate matter and vegetative matter and animals, and then finally humans. And everything actually is contained in this initial point, meaning there is a thought that is just spreading out and that we only have to realize. One more thing they say is that this thought is good, that there is a good end for us in all of this, and we are headed for great things, and that we can realize them while we are still alive in this world, and we're supposed to actually realize them while we're alive in this world. Now, what is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is that, I don't know, do you feel that? Ask yourself if you feel like every day is getting better. Do you feel like every day is the best day of your life? Because this is what Kabbalists say is the goal, that the goal of creation, of this Big Bang, and of everything emanating outwards was for us to reach the ultimate fulfillment. And that is why the wisdom of Kabbalah is called the wisdom of reception. Now, we don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to briefly just go over this and then give you guys a chance. If anyone has any questions, I can answer. So the wisdom of Kabbalah says that, and this should be like a 2-hour lecture, but I'm trying to give you some kind of touchstones in the wisdom of Kabbalah. So the wisdom of Kabbalah says that if we could find our true essence, what is our essence? It is actually a desire. And Kabbalah is really a science. It is a science of reception, meaning it says that I want all of these things. I would like to receive all of them. If I could be powerful, rich, knowledgeable, in love, meet my soulmate, have beautiful family around me, kids, grandkids, if I could have everything, I absolutely would. It's just that I feel myself limited. So I don't let myself want all of that. And this is called one doesn't lust after the king's daughter in the wisdom of Kabbalah. I would love to have the king's daughter. She's beautiful. She's rich. She's the daughter of a king. But since I know that I can't ever have her, I don't allow myself to want it. So we really limit ourselves to live in a very small little bubble of what is actually possible. And the wisdom of Kabbalah is the wisdom of how I could receive the fulfillment, maybe not in the way that I imagine, but I could right now, maybe not in the way I could imagine right now. And we'll explain, I hope someday when we have more time, why that is. But the fulfillment of this, that I could receive everything. This is called the wisdom of Kabbalah. And this is why it's called the wisdom of reception. And it says that in me is a minus, outside is a plus, meaning there's infinite abundance outside of me. Infinite abundance. What do I need in order to receive this infinite abundance? It's outside of me. Now, guess what? What do I actually perceive in reality? I perceive only the fact that I am a box with 5 holes in it, meaning my 5 senses. And inside this box, I feel that there's a universe and then planets And then here on my planet, we have people. Here we have my family, my spouse, my kids, whatever it is, and then different things that happen in day-to-day life. And I experience those things all through my limited perception. Here, I don't know what's outside me, actually. You know, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? This is an ancient Chinese proverb. And scientists today and Kabbalists for thousands of years say that no, it doesn't make a sound. Actually, what's outside of us is just waves. Inside our box, these waves are translated to tell me I actually am experiencing a symphony right now. I only experience the sound that takes place between 2,000 and 20,000 hertz, right? There could be, I don't know, maybe someone's on the planet next to me. And if they are not the frequency, because I can see only within a certain spectrum of photons, for example, if they are not at that frequency, I simply will not see them. Similarly, Kabbalists say that we are surrounded by abundance, but we don't feel it. Why don't we feel it? That is the whole wisdom of Kabbalah. And I will tell you just real quick, because I do have to go, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, but they say that just like in each one of your senses, you have the plus force that's coming, meaning the waves, in this case of the ear. You have the minus force, which is your desire to hear, which is in your ear, which is actually takes a manifestation as your olfactory epithelium, let's say. And in your eyes, you have nerves at the back, but you have a screen there called the retina, and each sense is that way. The problem is, and you can say, I can give you examples from the entire universe on Earth. Why is it dark in space, but light on Earth? And we can flourish off of this nuclear energy because there's an atmosphere that surrounds us and makes it suitable. Otherwise, we would just not be able to exist, right? We'd be radiated to death. But this screen allows the light to come in. Now, this principle of the universe, just like in a light bulb, if you have the plus force and the minus force, you have a filament in between the two. If that filament breaks, the light goes out and it's pitch black. Now, we are such that we are this desire to receive, and we want to receive it directly, meaning we have the minus force. The plus force is outside of us. We can't receive, and this is why the moment I start eating some delicious dessert, the first bite is amazing. Next bite, okay. By the last bite, get it away from me. I can't even believe I have to pay for this. I have no desire for it. And every pleasure is like this, long-term, short-term, but every pleasure is like this, that the direct contact between the desire and the light, Kabbalists call it the light, but what they mean is pleasure, causes a short circuit. And this means that our entire life is this chase from one short circuit to the next. And the wisdom of Kabbalah is, how do I build it's called a screen, but there is a screen that I build over my desire. I have to learn how to do it. And this is the whole wisdom. This is why the wisdom of Kabbalah was called wisdom of reception. And that is what the entire wisdom of Kabbalah is about. No mysticism, pure science. And it actually contains all of the sciences, all of the wisdoms, because when I discover what is beyond all of this box, this black box that I feel, I discover that there are greater and greater pleasures that I don't even perceive yet. Not only does my life balance out, harmonize, because I'm balancing myself with this force of nature, this plus force that exists outside of me, but I discover that there are greater and greater fulfillments outside of me. So that's it, guys. That's the wisdom of Kabbalah. I do have to run. If there is any burning question that someone wants to ask that's kind of pinpoint on topic, I'd be happy to take a quick question.
There's two in the chat, unless we have somebody here that wants to ask a question.
Okay. How and what do we receive everything in the right way? Okay, so that is exactly through the screen. No way. You can see I already didn't take enough time that I should have taken for all of these subjects. That is through something called the screen. There's a law in the universe. It's a law that covers the entire reality. Like I said, the atmosphere, every single sense is built this way. We can do like a whole science lesson there. A light bulb, electrical systems, computer, everything is built this way, except us. meaning I am like this broken light bulb that is a desire that the moment I have the opportunity to receive something, I don't think about it. I swallow it up instantly before it gets away from me. Now, the wisdom of Kabbalah is how, without losing anything, without having to give up any of my desires, I can enjoy myself just like I do now. But there is this addition that I add that is called the screen. We don't have this in our toolbox anywhere. This is something that has to be built. It comes from a force of nature that, just like all of the still vegetative animate and speaking, developed through the cells connecting and all kinds of things like this. This force, and why did this force, how did they connect? Well, we need to also talk about evolution and how this is the next evolutionary step, which we can realize using a force. There's a hidden force of nature that Kabbalists call it the light, but it helps us develop. The wisdom of Kabbalah is about how to draw this light so that we can develop this tool.
Screen. The screen is also called, from the Kabbalist, it's also called the intention. So it's how you receive, if you receive it with the correct intention.
Second question from Facebook. Will we discover laws of nature like gravity if we study Kabbalah? You will discover that compared to the rest of reality, this entire universe in which we exist, and you actually attain this yourself. So none of this comes from belief. If you believe nothing, and you don't need to believe what I say either, if you believe absolutely nothing, that's why the wisdom of Kabbalah is completely detached from religion. If you think it's religion, it means you don't understand the wisdom of Kabbalah. When you understand the wisdom of Kabbalah, you'll understand it's the exact opposite of religion, because it says everything that it talks about, all the goodness, I must attain it while I'm in this world. That this was actually the perfect reality from which to attain that which is waiting for us. Now, will we discover gravity? We'll discover all the laws in the universe, and we'll discover that this entire universe that we exist in is like a grain of sand compared to an entire beach. And thus, when we attain this reality that exists outside of this box, this black box with 5 holes, when we attain this reality that's just 1 centimeter above this black box, 1 centimeter outside, we attain all of the laws, all of the wisdom, everything, all of history. You could be a great historian. You understand everything about it, where you come from, what your root is, who you really are, meaning the deepest, most inner part of you. Where do you exist before this life? Is there something before or after this life? All of that stuff is revealed. All right, any other last questions?
If you can give the link, Gianni.
Oh, sure. So if anybody would like to hear more about this was not, we should have like much more detail. And if you would like to research the wisdom of Kabbalah a little bit, there is this link. So my teacher is Dr. Michael Lightman. He comes from a long line of Kabbalists. His teacher was the Robash. His teacher was Bala Sulam. So you can find out all about this wisdom. There's a lot of free materials there. And then if you really feel like you want to just dive in and take a beginner's course, there is this link, which is lp.kabbalah.info/spiritual2. I don't know. You can post it on Facebook, I assume. And the other one is kabbalah.info. So I really appreciate you guys having me here, and have a great night, guys. I love your show, by the way. I watch it all the time. I put it on with my family. I don't join the Zoom because my kids are crazy. You wouldn't like it, but I always listen in, and it just gives me like this warm feeling. So I appreciate you having me on, guys.
Thank you, Gianni. I also have to go, everybody. It was good to see you all.
Yeah, Gianni and Carl both have prior appointments that they're kind of late for already. Otherwise, but we loved having you guys here, Gianni, and it was a privilege, an honor, and amazing. I was fascinated.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to have to have them back on again when we can spend more time on this. I think it's really just a fascinating topic. So right now we're going to go back to John Weber and have another beautiful song. Take it away, John.
Well, I appreciate you qualifying it as beautiful. So anyway, I had this song in mind, and I don't know, I'm thinking I should have something way deeper and way more meaningful after listening to that amazing presentation. But here's a song that I planned on. So I blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots just to ruin your black tie affair. The last one to know, the last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. And imagine the surprise, the fear in her eyes. I picked up his glass of champagne. And I tasted you, and son, we may be through. You'll never hear me complain. 'Cause I got my friend in them low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. Man, I'll be okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not big on them social graces. Slip on down to the oasis, 'cause I got friends in low places. Well, I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong. God knows I've been there before. Everything's all right. I'm gonna kindly say goodnight. Show myself to the door. Now I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just let me one more glass. I'll toast you, say, honey, we may be through. Well, you can kiss my well, I got friends in them little places where the bourbon flows and tequila chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not big on them social graces. Slip on down to the oasis, 'cause I got friends like all of you in low places. I think if we listen to this information, we may end up in a lot higher place. Love you guys. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you, John. That was an interesting shift, I would say. I feel like I'm like spinning and I don't know exactly where I am, which is probably a really good thing and a really good way, I think, to go into the next part. So here we are. We're going into the, well, it's kind of hard to say this is the main event because I feel like we just got something very special that was I feel that it was really I feel like I just want to go to sleep for like 3 days and try to assimilate some of what I just heard. But let's try to talk about it instead, I guess. So do we have something to show? Do we have a little tutorial to go up? Yeah.
The mute/unmute button on a computer is at the lower left. On the iPad, it's the first item on top. The chat button on a computer is here in the middle. On the iPad, it is in the 3-dot menu here.
Okay, great. And then I think we're going to go over the roundtable etiquette really quickly. Do we have that? Great. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go through our roundtable discussion. Tonight it's going to be really straightforward, actually, but we want to go with the same rules as always. So we're here to create, to build a space of support, love, care, and warmth. I know I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts, I think, a little bit. So I know that probably if I feel that way, other people might feel that way. And that's really why we have these etiquette, is so that we really create a safe space for each other, that we can really feel supported. So the first rule out of the 4 that we're going to go with today is everyone is equal and very important. So each of us has something very important to share. And if we don't share it, we don't actually complete our circle. The second is we go around the table and we speak briefly and on topic. So let's make sure to do that. I really want to hear from everybody tonight. Even if you only have 2 words to say, I think it's really important that we all share something. 3 is let's listen attentively. Let's really try to feel where the other person is coming from. Sometimes people don't necessarily have words for what they're feeling. Let's try to really feel each other. And then 4 is there are no right or wrong answers. The truth is in the center of our connection. So if we go back to number 3, and it's really about just trying to feel one another, that's really where the answer is going to be. So bon appetit, everybody. And I'm really excited to go into this. So we have 2 questions. Again, really straightforward. I just want to hear from everybody. So the first question is, sorry, I seem to have lost my page. What impacted you the most during the presentation that we just heard? So what impacted you the most? Really think about what that means. It might not come from your heart, from your head. So I'm going to call on people just to keep it moving. Alana.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very interesting presentation and a lot of information, but I think it just really got me thinking, got me curious to find out more.
Thank you, Alana. Oh yeah, that's the other thing is, let's try to keep it brief. That was great. Paula.
I think the most interesting part was knowing that there's more available to us than what our 5 senses are capable of seeing or hearing or etc. It's pretty amazing. That was impactful.
Thanks, Paula. Love your haircut, by the way. Rono.
I think it was the fact that he was able to go from one subject to another, in trying to make this demonstration. Like he was showing the breadth of the material that he was able to go through from the sources he was using.
Pamela. We can't hear you, Pamela. Is your sound up? That's strange.
You'll probably have to exit and then come back in again.
Yeah, maybe you have to, yeah. Okay, Cheryl.
I think it was the idea of not limiting our desires. I think that's a concept that's very difficult for most people.
Yeah. Nancy.
I am so pissed off that I missed what he was saying. I'm going to watch this on Facebook when we get done. because I didn't come in until he started. And I really want to hear what he said. So I have always been interested about Kabbalah, and now it's right there. And I want to hear what he had to say and look up the link he gave us, which I never know how to find these links, you guys. So
You know how to get into the chat, right, Nancy?
yeah.
Okay.
Just quickly, I posted it also on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, the links are there.
Thank you, Alana. You're amazing. She's always on top of everything. Eva.
Well, it got me curious. The Kabbalah, known to the human being for 600,000 years, and only now we're kind of talking about it and revealing it. And it seems that there is like infinite knowledge within it. And I would really like to know more about it, that's for sure.
Brandon.
Just knowing that we all have desires and that we have a heart that that's the only thing I took away from it, is that we have desires and that we have to learn from those desires, and knowing our limitations.
Thank you, Brandon. Natalia.
Okay, what is important for me is that there is a meaning in our life, and there is a way to find out about the meaning of our life. And I would like to know more about it and listen to this person who is very good in explanation how it works.
Thank you. I don't know the name. It says LDG Bert.
Yes, it's IDG, IDG.
IDG, okay, IDG.
I just found it very interesting. It's something I did not know anything about, so I'll be interested in learning more.
Thank you, IDG. Nice to see you. Is it your first time with us?
Yes, it is.
Great to see you. Who did we not hear from? Shirley.
I guess the biggest thing that I question about it is, why was it kept a secret? I study philosophy, and most philosophers expound and want their knowledge to be shared. And why was this kept a secret?
Good question. Elisa.
It was so engaging and so interesting that I feel like I have to re-listen it again. And what caught my attention is that is so true. He was saying, and I was eating incredible crackers. I have whole box of them, but I ate like 3.5, and I can't continue, although I was so hungry at the beginning, and it was amazing. And he was just talking about how we eat, and the first bite is just so awesome, and it's really incredible. I wish we can have him back, and we can have a conversation with this person that, some questions needs some more clarification. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I totally felt that. I just quickly to answer the question, I think what impacted me the most was that he was saying, like, that if this isn't mysticism, where, like, I studied Kabbalah like for years, in all different traditions. And it was, everybody always said that it was mysticism. That's like what it was, you know, that's what I always knew it to be. And so to hear him to say that it's not mysticism, and yet when he was speaking about like the screen, and it seems very mysterious, you know, like we really, I think, need to have him for 2 hours, seriously, and like really ask questions and dig in. I feel like it's like a bucket of knowledge there. Okay, so we're running really late, so I just want to quickly go into the next question. Let's kind of do it like a lightning round, just to try to really feel each other. So what do you think is the meaning of life? So, Gary.
Well, I think after hearing that, I think Monty Python is all wrong. They got the meaning of life all wrong. But I think there's just a higher purpose. There's a lot more. I think there's so much that we don't know. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Gary. John.
Wow, how do you give a quick answer on this question? You know, I'll tell you, when I was listening, just to answer the first question, which I was kind of prepping for, something I have no clue what was even said. You know, trying to even listen and trying to connect the dots, but I could feel something. You know, there's kind of like a burning fire, and yet like a hunger that resides there too. And I think, you know, my takeaway on the meaning of life is that is the meaning of life. In other words, defining the meaning of life is the meaning of our life. And I think we define that by discovering these deficiencies, these desires, and then filling them.
Beautiful. Pamela.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. So I think I agree with Sarah. We definitely need to have Gianni back. I was also I haven't studied it at all, but I was under the impression that it was kind of related to mysticism. And there was one point where he said it's science, which I was like, what? So so I'm very interested to understand science and how it combines into what is the meaning of life, which my sense of it is just it's within each and every one of us. It's just maybe received a different way. But yeah, but we need to have Gianni back.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela. That was a really good point. Idge. You're muted.
I'll just pass. I don't really have anything to say.
Okay, fair enough. Nancy, you have something to say? You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. You know what? I can't say it in regards with Kabbalah, but to me, the meaning of life during COVID, it has changed my idea of what the meaning of life is. I think it's that you have to put meaning into your life.
Thank you, Nancy. That was really beautiful, and I think we'll end it there. So I feel like we need to shake it out a little bit. So let's go to our dance, guys. And you know how it goes, right? So we're gonna put on a song. We're gonna spotlight. So for all of our new people, when you're spotlighted, that means that on everybody's screen, we're only going to see you. On your screen, though, you're going to get a text box in the text box in the middle of the screen that's going to take up the whole screen, and you're going to want to go in and read it. Don't read it, okay? It's just telling you that you're being spotlighted. Ignore it completely and give us your best dance, because we're all going to follow you, and then it's going to go to the next person and we're going to follow that person. So we're just going to have a nice dance party together. Enjoy, everybody.
overcoming any situation, and together brushing off the past, hand in hand and as one nation. There's love at the door of our heart. We open and there's love at the door of our heart. We open up.
All right.
Thank you.
That about wraps it up for today. We just like to remind everybody, thank you for so much for being here. This was great. I love this today. I wish it could have gone on longer, but you know how that goes. So, but we just wanted to remind everybody to follow us we're on Facebook, Meetup, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And if we have there's all of our links. So make sure to like us, follow us, tell your friends about it, spread the word. It's really fun to have everybody. There's on Instagram, there's some videos from our events, some clips that you can watch. On YouTube, we have full episodes, full 1 hour episodes of everything that we've done so far. And again, we wanted to thank Gianni for joining us today. That was really, really fun. And for John Weber, did a great job. And to our tech team. You guys are the reason that we do this, that you come back here every week. And it's like every week we see new faces, and that's wonderful. I love seeing the new faces. New people, come back. You're welcome anytime. We hope it was a warm, friendly environment for you. And hope you enjoyed yourselves. So remember, every Thursday evening, 6:30 Eastern time, and be there. We'll see you next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about love, which is another really simple, quick topic. All right. Thanks, everybody.